Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father, and as always, bring you guys awesome interviews. And today is an honor and privilege to have Mr. Rob Malvagno, and I hope I pronounced his last name correctly.
That's right. Malvagno is actually the Italian way, or Malvagno, the Americanized way. So.
Oh, I like that Malvagno. I like that. I like that style there, Malvagno. Yeah. He's the vocalist of Despyre there from Suffolk County, Long Island, New York. And they got a debut release coming out here very shortly called Irritation. This will be released October the 13th, Friday the 13th for all my horror fans out there on Pavement Entertainment. So, woo, got a lot of things going on here, man. Yeah, man, we got a lot of things on the plate. It's kind of like exploding all of a sudden, so it's a good thing, though. It's all good. This is a damn good EP, man. I'll just be straight up with you.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, we've been getting a lot of really good feedback from it, It just started, getting out there. The single, Irritation, I think started hitting the radio like the beginning of the month, which is the beginning of now, so it's only a few days out now. And we've been just pounding the pavement, doing all our live shows and from Devil Driver to Drowning Pool, All That Remains, Gemini Syndrome. We went out with Death Angel, so we've been hitting the pavement with a lot of big bands, and we've been getting some great feedback.
Yeah, once this EP kicks off with Blue Sky, it really gets into it. I like this. I like how it plays out from song to song to song.
We definitely try to encapsulate all genres of the metal. Of metal. You hear a lot of the classical metal influences that we all grew up on, from the Iron Maidens and the Megadeths and Slayers, and then we really like to tap into some of the new metal that's out there, because when I sing, I go, I try to get some of the growls in there, but I like to try to stay melodic, I want people to be able to sing along to it and also get their aggressions out. We definitely have different levels in our music, even the music, the way we put it together. But every song has a specific meaning. When I write the lyrics, they all basically have something, that's happened in my life or is going on, but it also is very relevant to what's going on in everybody else's lives today. So, I think it touches a spot with people.
What's impressed you, Rob, the most about making this EP, Irritation? What's caught your eye about it the most, if anything?
Well, I'll be honest with you, what really I'm proud of about this EP is it really started a great relationship with Joey Z from Life of Agony. Joey had heard something I did a little bit earlier on and got in touch with me through friends of, the band Kill Code, who worked with him, and I'm friends with those guys. And, so Joey, we got in touch with each other, and he was like, man, your voice and the stuff that you were doing is great. I'd love to do something new. So, lo and behold, we went into the studio with him, and he not only became a friend and like a brother and family member, we called him Joey Miyagi. He was like our Miyagi. He really brought out some amazing stuff in us. He's so knowledgeable, and he really helped us to cultivate our sound and, where we're trying to go with the CD, and we're really proud of it. And, he was on my bucket list because I've always been a Life of Agony fan. Being from New York, they're from Brooklyn, and to have worked with him was definitely something that I think was my proudest moment with this CD. My next proudest moment is now for the rest of the world to love it.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure you're going to get a lot of great fans liking this stuff. Working with Joey Z on this in the recording studio, did he let you guys go your own way and step in when he needed to, or how hard did he push you guys on this?
Yeah, well, that's one thing that was great about, Joey. He knew we had the same vision on where we wanted to go with the sound. We're a live band, man, and we didn't like overdubs. We really wanted to create a very raw sound. And Joey really wanted the band to get the creativity out from us. So he definitely let us be who we are, and he stepped in where he felt need be. Like, he would definitely push us. Like, it wasn't good enough. Joey kept saying, we can do better than that. Let's do better than that. And then he would definitely say, you know what, I think let's try this. He threw in some ideas, where we were, we were a little unsure. He thought, hey, I think this might sound better. But in all, he really let the band be the band, so you got a natural sound of what we were looking for. But again, he pushed us to the point where, we went beyond where we thought we can be, which was great. But he's really easy to work with, man. He's got great knowledge. He really, as a vocalist, he brought me to places that, I was a couple times in the studio. When you're a singer, it's you're not always up to par. You got to go with the elements, and sometimes you're under the weather. And if he heard something in my voice, he's like, go home. We're going to go to another day. Or, he would tell me to really get into the parts of the lyrics, really vision what they're about. So it was almost like acting when I was in there, and I think it shows on some of my vocals. Any
songs off the EP, Rob, that stand out more to you than any on it as of right now? Maybe, possibly.
Yeah, Irritation and Blue Sky. I mean, like I said, all of them had a point in my life or something going on when I wrote them, so they all have a special place, but I really think that Blue Sky and Irritation stand out the most. Blue Sky, number one, because I've had a lot of tragedy in my life with suicide, and a lot of people I know, family, friends, have passed on due to that horrible subject, and I wrote that song. The band wrote the music, but I wrote the lyrics and the melody, and when I wrote that, basically it's coming from the other point of view of the people that are left behind, the people that have to pick up the pieces and deal with, why did this happen? How do I move on? So that's where I came from with that song. So, being that subject is close to me, I think that would have to be the one that stands out the most for me.
How much growth musically have you seen yourself and the band go through up to the release of this EP, or has it just been more a personal growth for each of you guys?
Yeah, I think, from when we started and we wrote these songs, this was the songs that we wrote, when we got together over a year and a half ago. And I think since we went through the recording process and we learned so much from Joey, and then the shows that we've been playing are really large-scale shows, and we learned a lot from being out there on the road and playing. So I think the songs that we're writing now, we definitely have looked inside of each other, and I think we're expressing ourselves more. We definitely grew as a band. We got tighter as a band. And the new songs that we're writing, which we are in the middle of writing songs now for a follow-up album, I think are going to even be to the next level. We really reached deep, and we figured out different ways of getting inside of each other to write. So, yeah, I think the band is progressing as we go on here.
Do you guys do anything differently, man, during the writing and recording process to help keep your minds open and fresh, to not let the music get stale? Because I know sometimes that happens, but do you guys do anything differently?
Well, one beautiful thing about, I think, the music industry now, because of the way it is, I don't feel, again, we're a new band coming in, but I don't feel, even from Pavement, there's no pressure on right now as far as writing. I think the one thing that I find for myself and the band members is we don't push the writing process. Basically, we let it happen, because when you push something, it doesn't come out, it's not natural. So what we wind up doing is I'll come up with a piece of a song or a couple lyrics, I write them down. I always have my phone on me, obviously, so I'll either, sing lines into it and vocal parts, and the guys will do the same thing with riffs. And a lot of times what we wind up doing is we'll just we're always on group texts, and we're always annoying each other, and we'll be sending these things to each other all the time. So all of us kind of pick things apart, when we're away from each other, and then we get together and we kind of put it together. We rehearse a lot. We rehearse up to 3 days a week, and then we have meetings with the band, and that's the key, is rehearsal. So any little bit of time that we have, we kind of are putting bits and pieces together. Through the phone, we send it to each other, and then we get together and try to rehearse it out. But we do not push the process. We let the song kind of happen as they may. We don't sit there and try to sit down and say, we have to write this song and get it done by tomorrow.
Right.
So I think that's one thing that we do that maybe other bands don't do. A lot of bands can, pump out songs, and we don't pump them out necessarily. We want them to be the best they can be.
How excited are you guys to be working with Pavement Entertainment? I know these guys and gals are pretty awesome record company to be working with.
You hear so many stories about record labels and the industry, and watch your back, but we are really happy since we signed with them. Things are starting to happen now that the CD is just about to come out. Since we signed with them, they have everything that they promised us or pledged to us. They have been keeping their end of it. They really believe in the band a lot, especially since we just did a show with Saving Abel and Soil up in Poughkeepsie, and Tim King, who is our AR rep and the vice president of Pavement, that was the first time he saw us live, and he was blown away. And to see now even more that they are 100% behind this band and they believe in it as much as we do is definitely a blessing to us, and we're greatly appreciating it. But they definitely have been living up to it right now, so we're happy.
What can fans expect at a show from Despyre when they come out to see you guys?
What do they expect? You better come out. They're going to sweat. They're going to hear live music. There's a lot of energy. We're in your face, and I think you're going to have a good time. Everybody's going to come home, definitely a fan. We kind of build our set. There really is no songs in our set, that take you down. Everything is just a build-up from the first song to the last song. But I think that's the name of the game, There's too many. We're not a political band, man. We don't go out and try to preach anything to anybody. I'm not really a fan of that. There's not much talking in our shows. We go out and we hit you in the face right from the first song to the last song, and we let the music do the talking. So that's basically it.
Do you guys like the digital era that we're in right now with albums being recorded and plus social media, especially like a band like you guys getting out here now? Do you think it's going to help you guys more?
It's a double-edged sword. I'm grateful for it because I'll tell you what, it's a lot easier to get your music out there now. A push of a button and I can have my songs in Japan, Germany. You can reach the masses a lot easier. That being said, that's the blessing of it. The downfall of it is it makes it harder because of these downloads and everything, it makes it harder to make a career out of it because the band no longer makes a living from any kind of sales. It's basically for people to get, you to listen to your stuff. The thing that I miss from it, I used to look forward to when I was a kid growing up. I wanted to buy the LPs. I wanted to buy the CDs. I wanted to look at the artwork and read the liner notes. That was part of the experience. And I think nowadays it's lacking because of that. So that's where the downfall is to it. People, they don't find an interest to run out and buy full-length albums anymore because I think their attention span is less.
True.
So they're looking for the next best thing. So they'll download a single or download one song out of a time instead of like a whole album to really learn about the band. But so I'd have to say it's a double-edged sword, man. I'm kind of 50-50 on it.
Yeah, you're right. There's a lot of, and I'm guilty of it. It happens because I do this all the time. I'm seeing stuff every day of the week come in, and and I hate to say this, and I'm not knocking any band whatsoever. And there's a lot that's out there that's the same band that's putting stuff out there. You know what I'm saying? It's the same stuff over and over and over.
That's another thing that's I think, and this goes for a lot. People for some reason. You have your core fans that will listen to everything, but people nowadays, they don't want to, as much as they used to, I feel, they don't want to try something new. If it's not familiar, they tend to not, go for it. Like you said, all the same bands or, the bigger bands, Avenged Sevenfold, Five Finger Death Punch, which I love. They're all great bands. I think people gravitate towards that for some reason because they get so much marketing behind them. The music is out there. That's another thing that I think with the digital age, people have to research more. You know what I mean? They got to find it. Even artists that have been around a long time that people think are gone, they're still there. They're still doing it. You just have to want to look for it.
Yep.
And I think that's the thing why the same music is always being played is because people need to expand their horizons a little and start to listen to underground music. Support your local scenes out there, man. I'm a fan of all musicians, but I'm a little perturbed about how the tribute scene just blew up. I would rather play in front of one person and play my original music than play in front of a sold-out, club playing someone else's music. That's just me. Not taking anything away from musicianship of anybody, but I really think people need to open their, go out and support local music and bring the scene back to these artists. That's who they are. These are art forms and people expressing themselves. I think people need to open their ears to that again.
Yeah, and folks, for the bands that are out there listening to this, please, don't take this the wrong way from me or Rob. We're just telling you, what we see every day. Don't be scared to go out of that comfort zone. Don't be scared to go outside that box because you never know. That might be the cue for you to take off. Seriously. Yeah,
again, I go to see tribute bands too. I love it, and I think if they're great, that's great. But what I'm saying is that, even guys that are in tribute bands, I find a lot of people who are in bands nowadays are almost afraid, some of them, to go and write original music because they want to play in front of a packed house, and it's hard work, man. You have to go out and sacrifice, and you need to pound the pavement. And if you believe in something, just go out and do it, and keep doing it. And you got to believe in it. But, the people are really what need to go out there and support it.
Rob, what does Despyre bring to the table for music that's not out there as of right now, if anything, possibly?
I mean, besides good music, which I feel is good, and like I said, the feedback is getting great. What we're trying to accomplish, and again, you listen to the CD, I think we're trying to encompass all of our songs. They touch on, I think, different genres of metal. I think you're going to hear some of the touches of the new metal, the hardcores, the thrash, and some of the classic metal. So what I'd like to do is, I would like to, our audience varies. I'm noticing our shows, we have a lot of older fans who are into like the Metallicas and the Maidens, and then we're really starting to tap into that younger generation. I'm seeing a lot of like 17, 18-year-old kids coming to listen because we have a little bit of a harder edge, and if anything, that's what I'm hoping, that we can bring a wider audience and not be like, pigeonholed to one age group or one style.
What was your thoughts on this, man, when Don Jamieson, the man himself from VH1's That Metal Show, plus comedian, he said, and I quote, Despyre simply is one of his favorite new bands.
Don has become a friend now, man. Don loves the band. As a matter of fact, Don Jamieson is hosting our CD release show on October 22nd here in Patchogue, Long Island. He's going to host the night, and I was actually honored, man. I remember that night, the first night. It was the first night he heard us, and he came up to us after the show and was like, "Wow, you guys!" He complimented, "You guys are awesome." He bought a shirt, and then we did a couple other shows for him, and he actually requested us to play for one of his events, and it's an honor, to have someone in that where the people he knows and where he's at in the industry. It's respectable to us, and. I'm really overwhelmed at someone, the compliment that he gave us. But it's built friendships, man. Now, Don's a friend of ours, and again, like I said, he's hosting our events, and it's good to have people like that in your corner.
What made you want to become a musician? What was that spark for you, Rob?
What was the spark for me? And this might sound cliche, but back when, I'm going to say, when I was in first grade, I got basically the band that turned everything around for me. I was always into music. My parents, my mother, she always, would play music all the time. So I grew up listening to like the Beatles and Led Zeppelin and all that kind of, classic rock. So just something about music, always kind of intrigued me. But the band that did it for me was Kiss. The first time I saw that band, all their album covers and that they were larger than life, that intrigued me. And ever since I saw that, I wanted to be on top like that. I envisioned myself always, being a step above and being able to, have other people and give them something, and Kiss was a band like that, not so much for their music, but their visual, and I saw how people actually looked up to bands like that, and it helped them, and that's what really got me into wanting to play. Folks,
this album, this EP, I should say, comes out Friday, October the 13th. Again, awesome day for an album or EP to come out, especially. Yeah,
Friday. They can pre-order it right now on Amazon and iTunes. Then it'll be available everywhere on the 13th. If you pre-order it now, you do get the single immediately, Irritation. We have an official video for Irritation that will be coming out. You can check Despyre.com, Pavement Entertainment. It should be out by the end of the month. And hopefully we'll be hitting your town. We are going out. We're going out on tour starting November 24th. We're supporting Bobaflex. So that'll run from November 24th to December 14th, I believe. We'll be doing the East Coast. We're starting in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and we're working our way, down through the Virginias. So, hopefully some people can get out and check us out.
Rob, before I let you go, good sir, would you care to do a promo for the show?
Which show? You got it. This is Rob Malvagno, vocalist at Despyre, and you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour. Metal, baby.
Everybody stick around. We got some great music coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and Uber City Radio. Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, man. Thank you very much.